Hey, whew, is Spoon the band? Slop? Let's figure it out. So first we have to go over what is slop. Second, oh my god, I need to blow my nose. How to detect slop. Third, how much of their catalog is or is not slop. Fourth, are they talented outside of that? And then finally, oh my gosh, I just dropped my pen. Oh, finally, I'm going to tell you if you're going to think and if other people are going to think that they're slop or not. And so let's get into it. Okay, what is slop? Music matrix. 0 to 11, we have energy and or intensity, right? On the bottom, we have from 0 to 10, we have catchiness. Think of how iconic or memorable the song is, how catchy it is. All these kind of things are synonymous, right? If something is less than a 7 in terms of catchiness, a song, that is the something in question. If a song is less than 7 in catchiness, people will call it slop. And the exception to that is if they're a fan of that particular genre or artist, then they might just say, well, no, it's indie, or it's punk, or it's metal, right? And then if something goes, you go kind of first to the energy level. Okay, is it the indie, jazz, blues, country, etc., all the lower energy, genres. Grunge kind of goes from here to here. Prog could really be anything here to here. Prog rock tends to be like prog metal, whatever. But in general, if it's less than a 7 in catchiness, it's called slop by people who are not fans of the genre, which is most people for most genres. You know what I mean? For every genre, it's most people. So anything less than 7 catchy is getting called slop by most people. You might not, or someone else might not, but most people are calling it slop. Now, if it's catchy, it's high energy and catchy, it gets called rock by people. Now, will a Metallica song like Enter Sandman be called metal and rock? Yes. Will a Green Day song that's really catchy be called punk and rock, or a Ramones song? Yes. But it gets called rock. You add when you go across the line. Sometimes you add when you go up and up across the lines as well. Indie and then pop. Indie pop. Right? Blues, pause. Pop. Jazz, pop. When you have a Frank Sinatra song, which is a jazz, right, in this area, energy-wise, then it becomes catchy enough, it gets called pop, because it means popular, right? Now, pop is high energy, it gets called rock. And so you can see pop rock, or pop punk, or power rock, or power pop. It all just means pop with higher energy, higher power. Power is energy, like, oh my God. Not doing physics definitions right now, but basically, you can figure out if it's a 0 to 3 on energy because people are falling asleep to it. You can figure out if it's a 3 to 7 on energy if people are dancing to it and they want to dance 4 to 7 kind of range. And 7 to 11, if you see people doing a mosh pit, you see people fighting, you see people lifting weights to it, right? Up in that range. But how do we figure out catchiness? So slop, we know what it is, less than a 7 in catchiness. And then now number 2 is how do we detect slop? So here, catchiness is complicated because catchiness is a lot of things go into causing catchiness. So we're not going to try and predict them all. Instead, we're going to pick one thing that gives us the best bang for the buck on understanding it and let that give us a gist for catchiness. It's predictability in my analysis. It seems to be predictability. And this is the average predictability because we have something completely incoherent like a Mars Volta song. Not all of them. There's like at least 10 really good ones that are catchy. But, well, then again, I'm a fan, so maybe I'm biased. Maybe they're not that catchy. Maybe I'm a fan. But there's also like stuff that's completely corny like Joe Bonamassa. That's going to be slop. This is going to be slop as well, incoherent. But if something's balanced in between like Back in Black by AC/DC or Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, and you've got like Welcome to the Jungle in the sweet spot right here, that whole thing is the money zone, right? Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be, not slop. You can still be slop, right? You can still be slop. And then here you could still also be something that's just good for fans of that band or fans of that genre. And you could also be hit quality. You can also be really good, objectively not slop, no matter if you're a fan or not, right? And so if you have a guitar part that's like really interesting and out there, but then the song structure and the vocals are really like predictable, together they might average out to be in the sweet spot, but they can still be garbage. Because if you have a garbage guitar thing and a garbage vocal thing, it makes a garbage thing. But if they're both cool and you put them together and it becomes really memorable and cool, it's like you get How Soon Is Now by and the sun and the air and a shining memory. Never be born. I'm a son in air. You get How Soon Is Now by the Smiths. You get things like that are really cool and textural. And then a My Bloody Valentine hit might be here, right? Like all that kind of stuff. Now, Spoon in particular are amazing. I'm going to show the hand a little bit. Spoon are amazing. Love Spoon. So, we don't. Now we get to how much of Spoon actually, now that we know what slop is and how to detect it, how much of Spoon is slop, right? This is actually where the rubber meets the road. Here we have an OnlyFans model. OnlyFans model. Meaning that the relative ratio of the different quality of song throughout their entire catalog is primarily, it's a catalog that's only for fans. Who's going to get the most out of this catalog? Fans! Only! So those people, only fans, they're going to get the most out of it, right? That means they largely don't have hits that people outside of that, genre or group. So an example would be like Motorhead. I love Motorhead, but admittedly, it's because I'm a fan of Motorhead. I like the thing they're doing. I like higher energy music, and I am like, it doesn't need to be the catchiest songs in the world. As long as they're good and catchy and fun, they go in this range, right? Same with Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa has no hit quality songs that are that catchy, but I still love the music, and so I get a ton out of the catalog, right? And he's clearly not just making entirely slop, but if you are a pop music listener, you're going to call Frank Zappa slop, and I'm going to disagree. That's where people disagree with an OnlyFans model. Now, hit or quit, another thing where people can kind of disagree or debate, because you've got songs that are incredible that everyone's going to love, and songs that no one's going to love that are entirely slop. Weezer, Queen, they have that, right? Look at the first couple Queen albums. They're prog songs that go nowhere, completely incoherent, or they're really boring and somehow go nowhere. They combine two things that are predictable and really unpredictable into a way that they come together in the money zone. And then you roll the slots and then, what's it going to be? Oh, slop. Oh. Slide whistle. That's what you get, right? So, slop or a hit. It's like a crazy redhead you're dating, right? It's either going to be amazing, it's like a Latina. Anyways, Latinas, hit me up. If you're watching the video, Latinas, you're in Austin, Texas, hit me up. Latinas, no, and this isn't about you, Latinas. The energy is either going to be incredible or horrific. It's bipolar. Ironically, the OnlyFans model is not the one that's bipolar. I'm too tired for this. Staring, looking at the camera. Okay, 50-50 is when, these are all self-explanatory. Look at it for yourself. Are you friggin' disabled, mentally impaired individual? No. And if you are, then I'm sorry. But I'm assuming you're not, because most of the population is not. So you're not. Hence, you can read yourself based off of the context clues. Now, oh my God, it's like, oh my God. I said Spoon has a greater than 50-50. I have not thoroughly gone through every single song, but I skimmed through even the first two albums, the second album has actually a good bit of popular stuff on it. No, I mean, I even went through the first album. I was going through a bunch of songs I'd never heard before. It's all either stuff that I as a fan would dig and or that is undeniably catchy. So I give them a slightly greater than 50-50. I don't know if I'd go straight to catalog. Classic catalog. Classic catalog means you pretty much released no slop, not even a little. So I wouldn't go that far yet, but I'm going to say greater than 50-50, an upward trajectory. Now, finally, talents. This is where you can get in and out of trouble, right? So, how good is the branding? If Kim Kardashian walks into Walmart, if Kim Kardashian walks in and goes, oh my God, I love this Metallica brand. There's great t-shirts. They're so good. Oh my God, this Misfits. The Misfits, really good t-shirt brand. I like them. Then you got a green here. If, no one really gets a good vibe, I would say they get a medium. Not bad. But not not notable. They're not known for having a really great brand. Musicianship doesn't inspire you to pick up an instrument. Like the same way listening to the first Van Halen record makes you go, oh my God, I need to learn to tap right now. It's so cool. Or like our musicians like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this band in spite of the fact that they have bad songs. No. But that might be because they haven't listened to it. But it is good. They are good on that way, and I do, but I know for sure other people don't. Like this is not, I talked to a lot of musicians. This is not one. This is not one of those bands that are like that, right? For most musicians. Rock music or otherwise, right? So I'm going to give them a yellow there. And this is not musicianship. It's more like virtuoso, like, oh my God, insane. You know, like people hear a Muse bass line and go, do 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 do. Every person I know who plays bass is like, I heard that song and said, I need to do that. Right? So like, that's not this. But people do hear a Spoon song and go, wow, I need to learn how to make music. I need to learn how to write songs. So they do get a definite green here. So they're talented for sure in songs. They're fine in musicianship and brand. And yeah. They're good, but they're just not like out of the ballpark incredible at those things. They're not like notable, like Black Flag. Black Flag can't write a song. They're the opposite of Black Flag. Black Flag, like, can't write a catchy song for the life of... Well, I'm sure they could, but they had no interest in doing it. So they just didn't write catchy songs, but they have incredible t-shirt value. You know what I mean? In terms of, like, being an awesome t-shirt, they do really well. So now, finally, where are we putting Spoon? Most people think generally, where is Spoon? Because you can only put an individual song on this thing as it currently stands, right? If you actually think about it. So it's like, do I average the entire catalog, or do I just pick the top song I know? It's like, most people think generally, and so that usually means, the ones I can remember. Usually means maybe the 10 I like the most, because why would I remember any other songs, right? So here are my 10. That's the way we get by, the way. That's the way we get by. And speed of lightning, roar of thunder. Now I'm just kidding. Different underdog. Underdog. Oh, underdog. That's an amazing theme song. Watch the Underdog cartoon. Incredible. I watched that growing up a lot. Had it on DVD. Underdog. Oh no, you will not survive. Yeah. Do-do-do-do-do-do. And do you? Don't. Do you is good. Inside Out is incredible. Hot thoughts all in my mind. And all the time, and all over time. All on my mind and all of the time, yeah. Then I turn my camera on the way, on the way. No. Incredible. And don't you ever wonder, that's, yeah, Don't You Ever is really good. And can I sit next to you? Do 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 do. It's really good. And that's the right up. That's the way we get by the way, but that's the rat I pay. Oh yeah, that's the rat I pay. Now down deep, down and deep, on me, on me, the hottest cut. And don't down, 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 down. We are the hottest cut. The hottest cut. Down, 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 down. Then on the hottest cut. Down. Yeah, hardest cut, really good. But just off the bat, like 9.5 on catchiness, incredibly catchy. But on average, 5.5 in terms of energy. So that's like why. So Spoon's my mom's favorite band. Are they my mom's favorite band? Like of all time? They might be, but I maybe there's just a tie for like first place with a bunch because they're a specific energy level and a specific thing. But they're a 9.5 on, like, this is one of the catchiest bands ever, right? And then 5.5 in terms of like rock and punk. They're right there. They're incredible. So they're kind of like, for me, they get kind of like this pop rock kind of slot right here. For other people, they might be closer down to pop. They might choose lower energy songs in their top 10. Most people are going to say they're rock, maybe on the border of rock and pop. And then you might say they're kind of like punkish indie rock pop, but they're really poppy. They're like really like good kind of like rock pop band, like poppy rock band. They're kind of like indie and punkish as well, because when you go across, you kind of add, right? Just kind of all this stuff right here, because they kind of. But I imagine their catalog kind of does this. Maybe goes down. I don't think they'd go past a 6 in terms of catchiness, because they're incredibly good. Like, that's the thing. Like, Spoon's incredibly good when it comes to like songwriting. They will compromise on energy. They will compromise on like having crazy like solos, or compromise on like anything overpowering or being self-serving in service of making it as catchy as possible. That's just like comes through in their songwriting. So I can't imagine. I haven't gone thoroughly through, but I can't imagine they get even to like, they maybe get to a 6 in terms of catchiness. They're really disciplined about it, or at least that's what you would get as an impression from the things you hear from Spoon. So, yeah, Spoon, rock band, pop band, not Slop. Because Slop is like your average, like even if you average the whole catalog, you're ending up still like here. In terms, like maybe a pop band on average. But still, it's like, it's at the upper end of it. So it's like, that's where I'll put them. That's where I put them. And you might be also saying, and just remember this, where does rap go? Rap's a vocal style. Well, what about the production techniques? Well, they either usually fall into like jazz, blues, country, classical, indie, maybe like EDM, but like EDM, electronic dance music. So you're like, okay, well then like 4 to 7 if it's dance music. Well then hardstyle, it's like, the instruments that you use is less relevant than the energy level. The energy level and the catchiness, and then maybe the actual thing that might matter to people more is instrumental versus non-instrumental. You know what I mean? But outside of that, it's like energy level, catchiness, instrumental, non-instrumental. That's pretty much it when it comes to like, if you actually want to group things based off of, oh, this person likes this. It's like you can probably predict people's taste based off of what bands or groups they like, based off of, okay, where is a band you like? Where do you put them on here? Okay, now let's do another band you really like. Let's put them on here. Oh, look, they seem to be in similar spots. Okay, now let me look at all the other bands that Connor's already like logged into a database that are near those bands on this list. Oh, do you like these bands? Of course. How do you know? Or I've never heard of them. Oh my God, I love them. I listen to them now because you told me to. It's incredible. It's like, this seems to work. I seem to be finding patterns and stuff. Like I found that like MGMT, which I'm going to do a video on, are basically just the exact same thing as mindless self-indulgence, except lower energy, lower intense. They're less intense, mindless self-indulgence by a lot, and with less offensive lyrics, more innocuous lyrics, still tongue-in-cheek, still mostly like electronic with a little bit of analog instruments in it, still the same level of catchiness, still like exactly the same, just less intense, and even the lyrics are less intense. And so that's funny. So, but that's like, those are trends and things you can see, right? I could see that like Idols is garbage. They're garbage. And I go watch the video on Idols. Because I break it down, because basically you're just like, you end up where it's like this. How do you end up here? How do you end up here? And then you're all over the enemy. You're all over everything. It's like, do you have the right opinions? Or, I don't know, is just everyone in bed with the labels? Like, what is happening? But that's not, you're not good. Viagra Boys, on the other hand, started out as kind of like a little nonsensical in their compositions on the first album, but it's like jazz. But like, still, it's not catchy jazz. And then they got, still not particularly catchy. I'd still say that Cave World is between like a 5 and an 8, but I honestly think it ends up mostly in the 5.5 to 7.5 range, and it ends up about this energy level. Then the new album from Viagra Boys, they went down in energy but up in catchiness. So they're just a good pop band. They're started getting into like kind of like a dancey, jammy, vibey pop band, like a Tame Impala, Mac DeMarco type of way. They kind of went a little bit MGMT, that whole thing, and they're really good. They're just lower energy than I normally like listening to. But like, I love the Smiths, and the Smiths are incredible. They're just lower energy than I normally like. I normally like rock music. Duh. You know what I mean? But they're still good. They're incredible pop bands. So it's like, I'm really happy to see Viagra Boys getting catchier over time. The problem is, or not problem, there's no problem with that. You just hope they find what Spoon did, which is, okay, we found our lane. Now we know how to be catchy and go higher energy, lower energy, and still never compromise on catchiness. That's what I want to see with Viagra Boys. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see them doing Arctic Monkeys, where, well, I guess Arctic Monkeys didn't really have this trajectory. But they went, well, actually, Arctic Monkeys were already catchy and high energy. Arctic Monkeys were probably like on the first album, like they're up here. Maybe depending on how you think of the catchiness levels, maybe they're spread out. But still, I would say Arctic Monkeys' first album is here. Then energy and catchiness goes down on the second album. Then the next album is here. But then the next album goes back here. The next album comes up here with AM after Suck It and See. And then Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino kind of goes to like here, right? Probably on this borderline at a low energy. And then the car just dive bombs to like literally a 1.5 and at like a 4. Like insane. So it's like, what did Arctic Monkeys do? They went boop, boop. But you can actually look at the career just go like this. You can actually look at them do that, right? Isn't that interesting? You can look at albums do that. The reason this is important to me is because it lets you understand what you like and why, you know what I mean? And to have an intelligent conversation about it and to let you better predict. Oh, and go, oh, no, okay, my friend, the reason he says that band sucks and I totally disagree is because I really love virtuoso musicianship and he loves having a great brand. So that's why I think Polyphia is great and he thinks Polyphia sucks. And that's why I think Black Flag is great and he thinks Black Flag sucks, or vice versa, right? It's because Black Flag has an amazing brand, but nothing really else going for it. Okay, if you're a fan of the energy level, even though it's not catchy, yes, you're going to get something out of it. But same with Polyphia. They don't have good songs and their brand is generic-y. But they have insane virtuoso musicianship. So it's like, you can see, to call either Slop is like, maybe. But then you look at Black Flags, but then Polyphia also doesn't have a catchy song, even though they're instrumental, and you're like, well, you just don't like instrumental music. It's like, no. Go watch the whole video. I give a ton of examples of catchy instrumental songs that you can sing off the top of your head and go, oh, yeah, those are iconic. It's like, yeah, catchy, iconic, memorable. That, it needs to be substantially, right? Wait, no, I went from trying to do Beat It into a song I'm writing right now. Never mind. That's good. That means the song I have that I'm writing is catchy. But that I mixed it up with a really catchy song as an example. But, yeah, Spoon are incredible. Viagra Boys, good news. I'm very proud to see that. Idols, I went through every song. I had a hunch that they were garbage, and then I listened to it. When people talk about like indie punk and like DIY, like I think Spoon is the greatest example of that. I don't even know. They probably like signed with a major label, or they a subsidiary of a major label at some point. And I saw they recorded the latest album here in Austin. They're like kind of like hometown. So maybe they left the label. Maybe they're still on the label, but they seem to like be uncompromising in every like in service of making catchy songs, which is like that's kind of like the guiding light. You can never be above reproach. Or you never, okay, well, that's true. But I mean, you can be sort of above reproach if you always make the North Star catchiness and you're disciplined about, let's go through a couple of drafts of the songs until they're really catchy. And then release the album. Have you thought of that? I'm not Viagra Boys. They did think about that. That's what they did between the albums, and now the album's really catchy. They had to decrease the energy, which I'd be, remiss to say if I didn't prefer they were able to keep the energy up and be catchy. But honestly, I'd rather be catchy. I'd rather be good music than my preferred energy level. It's like, this is what I like. I like 4 to 9 or 10. 11's insane. It's hard to find songs that are 11 a lot of the time. But that's like if I'm deadlifting and I need to like 1 rep max. I need to like, it's if I'm doing something dangerous and if I don't get full adrenaline, I might die. It's like, yeah, then give me that, right? But otherwise, it's like 4 to 9. 4 to 9. So was I devastated when Cage the Elephant went from like first album? Let's see, they're at like probably a 6.5, 7. Honestly, actually some 8s. They're at a 7. Cage the Elephant's probably like here. First album, really good, really high energy, right? So Spoon was like here. A little less catchy, but higher energy, right? So I'm not complaining. Then they got even higher energy. They got up to like a here, but they came down and catchy us to about here, borderline. And then they went like that. So they went from like here up to there, and they went down, and then it just slowly did this until it got to Garbageville, kind of on Social Cues. And there's songs I like off Social Cues. Black Madonna's really good. Those things are either sufficiently low energy or just like not the best songwriting, but moderate energy, moderate intensity. But yeah, it's nice because you can actually look at a band and go, no, this is where they went. This is where they went. This is where they went. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. It's probably like midnight. It's midnight here in Austin, Texas. And if you're a Latina, hit me up. Yeah. Like, subscribe, comment, see what you want in the next video, or let me know what you want in the next video. I feel like I gotta go to bed. I'll talk to you later. I appreciate it though. I've been talking to you for like an hour and a half. I keep doing these videos. I thought these videos would be quick. I've been doing videos for like 12 hours. I thought I'd get like, they're all going to be 10 minutes. They're all going to be 6 minutes. I'm going to blast through them. I've been recording like triple the length I thought I'd be, and I've gotten like half the videos done. It's all good though. I love you. And I feel like these videos are great. Good quality. You know? But anyways, I'll talk to you later.